everyone. This is Dr. Ron, and I'm coming back to you with another episode of Boomer Life Lessons and Stories. I do hope this episode finds you and your family doing well. And of course, what's it all about? It's taking care of yourself and your family, of course, and doing the very best that you can. I hope that we've said something in previous episodes that have been helpful to you and your family, and that would allow you to do better tomorrow than you have done today. And if we've done that, then that puts a smile on my face. We've done what we set out to do. So, what is today's episode about? Well, let me read the title to you, and then you can kind of let that just digest for just a moment. Episode number 63, the title of it is When You Should Ask for Help, a rebuttal to episode number 62. And what was episode number 62 about? Episode number 62 was 7 reasons why you should not depend on others when you can do it yourself. So now we're going to be looking at this from a different set of perspectives. And one of them is what we're doing for ourselves and for our family versus what we're doing for others and perhaps the community. And that really is a good summary or a starting point for this list of 3 or 4 items that I'd like to share with you. So before we go there, if you could, please like, share, and subscribe, and that will help us, of course, with the YouTube algorithm. When should you ask for help? Well, the simple answer simply is this. It's not about you. I mean, it's kind of stunning, isn't it? When should you ask for help? When it's not about you. You know, the previous episode focused on 7 reasons why you should not ask for help when you're able to do it yourself. Now you're not looking inward at yourself. You're looking outward to the extended family, to the community, to someone in your church or synagogue or mosque or whatever the case may be, or to an organization that you belong to. Somebody is identified that has a need. So is it okay to reach out and help others? Of course it is. That's what we do. That's what we do to ensure that our community is healthy and well, and everybody is benefiting from the activities and the wealth that we create. Now, give me some examples, or I should give you some examples. I've been in organizations where elderly people's roofs were leaking, right? And, you know, I'm not a roofer, right? And I don't have all the tools and perhaps all the skill to go and do the roofing, to fix the roof for the individual. I could probably patch it, but the patching might not be long lasting. So the right thing to do is to call your friends, your neighbors, your associates, and let them know of the need and ask for their help, especially if they have skills and knowledge in those areas, so that you're able to satisfy a need based on somebody else who cannot help themselves. So in that case, it's fairly straightforward and easily seen. There's somebody in great distress. They have a need. They cannot help themselves. And so you're going to ask for help for you to go help them. So it's not just you helping those that are in great need. It's you and your team of friends and neighbors and associates, and you're going to go off and do a very, very good thing. Just think about it. If it were your grandparents and you were in no place to help them, you were halfway around the world or something along those lines, wouldn't you want somebody to identify the need and answer the call to reach out to your grandparents and help them fix the leak? You know, the bottom line is, if that sort of need goes unfulfilled, meaning help provided, the place can become unlivable. And so where do they go then? So you haven't just simply reached out to them and you and your friends and associates fixed their roof. You've actually ensured that they have a place to stay, that is safe, healthy, and dry. So in that particular case, it's easily seen. When should you ask for help? Help when it's not about you and it's about somebody else who is in distress and needs the help and they cannot help themselves. So really that was a simple one to look at. So perhaps we could broaden that perspective. If there is a need that is erupting into a crisis. Now, we all know crises seem to become global in our lives in terms of all encompassing. They take all our attention and all our resources and all our emotional capital to wrap our hands around if we can. And it's not necessarily about us, but then again, it's about somebody else or the community, right? So the clock is ticking. If that need goes unanswered, then something more catastrophic would happen. So not only do you have to look at what's the need about, who has the need, is it a need beyond their ability to help themselves, then you don't have the skills to answer the need and provide the solution all by yourself. In order to prevent it from becoming a crisis that is all encompassing and something more devastating than what it's manifesting itself today as, like a leaky roof, you ask for others. So in this sense, this is the other thought. When do you ask for help? The simple answer is to prevent a crisis from erupting into something more, and the clock is ticking. In other words, the need has a shelf life, and that shelf life will expire at some point off in the future. That means that you don't have an infinite amount of time to keep pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off. It needs to be fixed right now so that it doesn't manifest itself in something worse, right? Say the elderly couple got sick or pneumonia because they were living in a damp environment, right? So anything that has a shelf life that you've been asked to help and you don't have all the skills, and that's another point. You look around you at your friends, associates, and neighbors, and for those skills that you're going to need, you build that team to go off and satisfy that need. So that's when you ask for help. But the bottom line is it's central to the point that it's not about you. Whereas when we talked about it in the previous episode, you have a need, you certainly have all the capability and wherewithal to satisfy that need, but you choose not to. That's not what we're talking about here today. We're talking about those who are incapable of helping themselves. See, in the previous episode, those individuals should not ask for help. Why should somebody else do for them what they refuse to do for themselves? So it starts with the individual. Help yourself, and then you'll see if you need help beyond what you're capable of providing for yourself. In this particular episode, we're talking about clearly a need by an individual that is well beyond their ability to master or overcome. And so they reach out to you to help. Now they've initiated it. You have to respond. It's a moral obligation that we all bear. Somebody has a need and you have to respond, but you yourself do not have the tools, resources, knowledge, or skill set to satisfy that need. Then it's okay for you to reach out to others and ask for their help as you build your team to go and satisfy that need, right? So it's all about not putting yourself in the center of the universe, but putting others who are in need, who are not capable of helping themselves, at the center of the universe. Then the entire community drops in. It's like, the air troopers come in and parachute into the need and they fix it. And once the need is fixed, then everybody goes on their way. And all the pay they get and all the pay that they need is a thank you. You see, there's nothing that would require payment of any other sort. I'm thinking of a situation that erupted where a community did not reach out and help for whatever reason. And this was in the news in the north central Texas area, where a individual who was working and providing for his family, he got called up to go over to Iraq and fight for the country. And his family was left there trying to take care of the house, the lawn, putting food on the table. And of course, he wasn't getting paid what he was getting paid when he was in industry. And pretty soon the lawn became overgrown and nobody paid any attention to it. Nobody thought, well, he's overseas. She's not capable and doesn't have the extra money. Let's go and mow her lawn. The rest of that story was they lost their house. Now, of course, there was an outcry. The newscasters spoke about it. There was a big rising up of the community. They went and helped fix that problem. But it was only after they lost the house. They could have prevented all of that if somebody in the community recognized that there was a need and all that simply needed to be done was some lawn care. Think about all the heartache and pain and anguish that everybody felt in that family, the children, the mother, and of course, the father overseas serving the country. So you see, we do have a responsibility to reach out and ask for help when the need is beyond us, because we're putting together a team to help others in the community, in the city, and even in other states when catastrophes happen like hurricanes and tornadoes. You see it oftentimes. Not just the local community reaches out to help, but those in the state and outside the state come rushing in to help those in great distress so that they can put things right for them. And the individual doesn't have the power, the capability, the resources to make it right for themselves. So you're doing a great thing when you help others by building a team and asking for them to help you help fill that need. And with that, my friends, I'm not going to drag this out. That was a rebuttal to episode number 62. When you should ask for help, however, is when there is a need that you're trying to satisfy for others, and it's not about yourself. You get nothing out of it other than the joy and happiness that you're helping others. And again, that's kind of your extended family and your community, isn't it? We're obligated morally to make sure that people who cannot help themselves are helped through that crisis. And with that, you guys take care of yourself. Please know you're always on my mind.